You're listening to a Podfix Network podcast.
We'll talk about audiences.
Okay.
Who wants to host?
A host.
Oh, okay.
Don't sound excited. Jeez, get your minds out of the gutter.
Man, I just felt like you were really casting weird aspersions onto our audience, you know? And wouldn't you know, the topic of today's episode is audiences. Welcome to Little Bits and Pieces. I'm Christian Torres. We're Walrus. Joining me
I'm
today
Jeffrey
are...
Fella. Oh,
Wow.
sorry. No,
Christian just sniped that. Christian sniped that hosting. Oh, shit. You're going to take that, Geoff?
Hey, everybody. So welcome to Little Bits and Pieces. Today we're talking about audiences. That's right.
I saw a great segue. I took the segue.
It was a good segue.
I'm Jeffrey Fella, and today I'm joined by two other guys. And I'm Walrus. They're here too.
I'm Walrus. Cuckoo-ca-choo,
baby.
Oh, okie dokie.
Wow.
Did you
How
know
did that feel?
the hotel in Rosemary's Baby is the same hotel that John Lennon was assassinated outside of?
Really?
Everybody knew that.
Or not hotel, apartments. I'm sorry. It was no hotel.
Is it like a hotel now? Did they like
No,
convert it or something?
it's an apartment. I saw a 3-bedroom there sold for like $27 million.
Really?
Yeah, isn't that wild?
Is it like really nice or something, or is it just he got murdered there?
No, well, a little bit A, a little bit of B. It's like a Victorian style, so it is like, you know, like if you like old homes, it's you can't, because you can't get that anywhere. They're not making them like that anymore, you know. That's what I always say.
Yeah, they're not making homes old anymore.
It's sad, really.
They should make them old first. Start making them old and let them age down. Yeah.
Yeah, give them a little Benjamin Button treatment.
Yeah, use that Benjamin Button wood. And
that would require constant. Speaking of Benjamin Buttonwood, this episode is proudly sponsored by our good sponsors at Pornhub.com.
Benjamin Buttonwood. That was your segue. Or is that the copy? Oh, that is in the copy. Never mind.
That's in the copy. Yeah, I have to
mention Benjamin Buttonwood.
Yes.
So what did you say today's the topic was, Geoff?
Audiences.
I think Christian actually beat you to that, but whatever.
I don't remember Christian saying it. I don't think the audience does either. See, I worked that in there.
That wasn't even working it in. That was
just
you're
like
out there.
A portmanteau, a pun. There was nothing.
Yeah, I just want to see what you guys think about audiences. I know, like, Christian does a lot of crowd work and has a lot of fun, but Matt, like, you have an antagonistic where the audience kind of hates you, and so I'm curious how audience. In fact, let's start with Matt, just because of how much you just struggle with audiences.
Well, it's not as much as I struggle with them, but they struggle with me.
Okay, sure.
And sometimes very literally.
A physical struggle, like
there have been altercations. Yeah. I have had to put people down.
Permanently?
Double tap.
Right. Do they move afterwards? Or
I don't want to spoil anything for any of our listeners.
You don't stick around to find out?
I don't. I usually am in the ambulance saying like, ow, 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 he hurt me.
Hey, you know, it's most comedians' dream to kill, you know?
Yeah. And to bomb.
Who said that? Adam Sandler?
No, don't say that. Don't say that.
Why?
Oh, can we not mention Adam Sandler?
Don't say Adam Sandler, yeah.
Well, not 3 times.
No. And we've said it, we've mentioned him twice now, so do not say it a third time.
Okay.
All right.
I wouldn't take the risk.
All right. Thank you, you guys. That was really nice of you to not do that.
It's nice to have some tension going on throughout the episode.
Yeah, you never know who's going to say it. Audiences. Yeah, so that's interesting that you say all of that, Geoff, because that's not how I am at all with audiences. I like to make everything I do on stage an inside joke with everybody because I feel like being inviting is way better than being
X
the
fighting.
Outwitting.
yeah.
Oh,
I was,
alright,
I
yeah.
was gonna say the opposite of inviting. Yeah. Good save.
Excluding.
Yeah, because a lot of people, and I've done stand up a bit. Christian has as well. And there is this energy that stand up comedians bring to their sets that is the quote unquote "fuck you, that was funny." Um, that they yell at the audience, which I have heard probably at least 20 to 25 times verbatim. Fuck you, that was funny. And spoiler, it was not that funny. Um, but everybody hates those guys. Nobody likes those people. Even other comedians, they're like, what a hack, what a hack!" Like, and then for some reason, when you're like super inviting, some people will be like, "Oh, you're not angry at everybody. That's not good." It's like, yeah, it is. Everybody's enjoying it
So do you
now.
not feel anger?
Oh, I feel anger all the
W
time.
what when you jump on stage and, you do your little goofy thing where you jump on stage,
Hmm.
and when you first pull that sharp turn to face the audience because you haven't looked them in the eyes yet as you jump on stage, and you snap your neck around to look into their eyes. What is your favorite when you're looking at the audience and you notice that one thing? What is that thing you're looking for that's just like, yes, I wanted that in the audience?
Terror. Terror. I mean, what you just described as someone leaping on stage and then you whipping their head around to then death stare the audience. I think the only thing I'd want in that scenario is sheer terror because you described me as a gargoyle.
Or like a cool gargoyle from
Yeah.
like a ripped gargoyle, like from like Gargoyles.
Yeah, like a
Uh,
I was getting Babadook
um,
vibes, like
yeah. Okay, good. I'm glad we're all on the same page because, yeah, I was imagining blood is dripping. Your eyes are just wide and bloodshot, just
and then
cat-like in the
and then
light.
after 30 seconds of staring down the audience, I go, "Fuck you, that's funny."
And then they all laugh, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
It always does well every time.
Uh,
Uh,
oh, Jesus.
for me, this is the hardest I've laughed on this show. I think that's such a funny concept. I don't even know if you're wearing a shirt in this scenario. You might be like in
No,
just
I
a
think I'm covered in
loincloth.
scratches. Like,
Yeah.
I thought he was covered in stones. He is a gargoyle in this situation, right?
yeah, stones and scratches, but there's somehow blood still.
Your hands are kind of cupped together in front of you, and it's very Smeagol-esque, whose real name I do not know. Um,
Wait, isn't that his real name?
Yeah, his name's Smeagol.
guys,
Because of this,
guys,
because of the old
guys.
episode.
Yes,
Oh,
yes, yes. It's a callback, but to something that is very real. Uh, Christian, same question.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry. What was the question?
do you ever leap on stage? No. What's your approach to the
What?
audience?
Well, what do you? Yeah, that's a better question.
Sure.
Oh my
So-
god. I'm sorry, just to witness Geoff going from full on bit to serious is always very funny to me. Yeah, sure.
Well, sometimes it's over and it needs to end.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
all right.
Yeah, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, audiences. So, with I think it's interesting because you had talked about having done stand up before and stuff, and I've dabbled in that a little bit too. But like improv audiences and stand up audiences are so like different, or
Yeah.
at least it feels so different. Where with improv audiences, which is the majority of the ones I play in front of, often, not all the time, but often the most of the audience is other improvisers in the crowd, which is interesting. Even if they're like friends of yours or just people, it's like the people who go to improv shows often tend to be
Yeah.
people who like improv and do improv. And the audiences themselves are already, I think, a little bit more supportive and a little bit more like willing to engage, a little bit more what's the word? Just I think they want you to succeed. You know, they don't want you to fuck up because if you do, they're wasting your time. So I think the audience in general are a lot more like supportive in an improv environment. And in
Yeah.
general, I like to I think I do like to engage them or like almost I either like kind of ignore them and do my thing, but more recently I have been I tend to like wink to the audience a bit more than I think
It's
I used to.
fun. It's
Yeah,
enjoyable.
yeah, because I
Yeah,
think
let
you
him in
need
on
to like
the. You let him in. I'm sorry.
yeah, yeah, no, 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 no,
You know,
no, you're fine. No, you let him in. You let him in. You're right, and
No, Geoff, you're on this podcast too. It's okay.
yeah.
No, it's I don't know. I'm playing with the big boys, and obviously, there's not a seat at the table. So go ahead, tell
Yeah,
your
no,
story.
what I was gonna say is like I do think that you need to acknowledge to some extent that like you are in a room of real human beings making something up in front of a large group of people, and I think it's like a weird thing, and so I think they're it almost like it feels almost weirder to not acknowledge them sometimes, you know, to not like in some way like recognize that
Yeah,
I'm like in some instances like 6 inches, a foot away from like a person who's sitting
Yeah.
in a chair watching me do this thing, you know? It
And usually
almost
with
feels
their like arms crossed and their legs pretty far out, and they're just like not laughing very much or
oh yeah.
nodding, kind of. And it's
so
like, oh yeah,
okay, so this makes me think of an actual very real question. Something that we have seen, especially with our sets, because they don't always land with everybody, as we're all aware. This kind of goes against what Matt just said, but there are times where we are not getting the most laughter in the show. And I'll still walk off stage feeling convinced that like that was a really good set, but it's just like sometimes the audience just kind of has a hive mind for a different type of humor. Um, I I feel like it's not that we're not getting laughs, it's just not
Right.
split sides. And then, we'll have a group come up and they'll do a thing about like I don't know, a fruit stand, we'll say,
Sure.
and we don't do those scenes. We don't do scenes about people who sell fruit, and
Right.
so they're
Cool.
dying, and at that set, but we recognize that they're hacks and we're really good. So
Sure,
I'm just
sure.
curious what, and I guess it's kind of like like we're funny. So what's the deal there? What's going on
Well,
there?
it's like just because you and like Matt was saying, it's like you're inviting the audience in. Just because you invite somebody in doesn't mean they're going to accept that invitation.
The opposite of a vampire.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think that's. I mean, it sounds again. It sounds egomaniacal to say like, oh no, this is funny.
Right.
This is funny. Um, I think we've curated our voices in a way where we know what works for us. We know what has
Yeah.
worked in the past and stuff. And sometimes, and I liken this all the time, like we do something that if a guy just was like, I want to go see improv, probably wouldn't see what we're going to do like
Right.
on any given
Right.
night. So when we do what we do, it's kind of like what I get a lot of times after sets will be like, I don't see anybody doing that, and or I don't know
Right.
what you just did. Like,
Right.
what was that? And especially if you're introducing like newer improvisers that are learning it and stuff,
Right.
are confronted with it, and they're kind of like, wait, they're not doing all the rules or something.
S s
um,
Something that Jeff said made me think about this, that I think that you see this a lot. I feel like I've even said it before. I'm sure you guys have said it at some point, but I see a lot of people say it sometimes, which is like you do a show, it doesn't get the performance you want. You walk off and people say some version of, "Oh, that was a bad audience," you know? And
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
curious like what you guys kind of think about that because when I hear other people say it, I can't help but always thinking about back of my mind, like, was it though? Or was it, or
yeah,
did, you know? But then again, I've also played like to what
to
Jeff was
bad
saying.
audiences.
Yeah, like I've played to audiences who weren't really into what I was offering, you know, and it's like, and you know, who may have been a bad audience for me, but a good audience for someone else. So I'm
Yeah.
curious what you guys like think about
Well,
that.
What? Well,
no, I just wanted to jump in and ask what you guys think when you hear someone say that was a bad audience.
oh, you're the host. That's right. We want you to have that
Thanks,
power.
thanks,
Okay.
thanks,
Yeah,
Ed.
sure.
Thanks, Ed.
Um, well, I was gonna say I this sounds like I'm like bragging or something, but I got to interview Damon Wayans for a local thing here, and I basically asked him, the question that I love asking comedians that I meet, and it's like, what was your worst gig? And this, sorry, Damon Wayans out there, but this idiot, he says there are no bad shows. It's only how you take them or whatever. And I was like, that's so stupid. That's that's such a political answer. It's like you enjoyed playing in the Pizza Hut parking lot, when you were starting? Like that was a good gig, you idiot. Like what are you talking about? Um I think I do think that audiences aren't bad, but circumstances are usually bad. Like uh like I've done shows in
It's hot.
places, yeah, where where it's hot. Yes, where it's Jesus.
Yeah, that actually does. That sounds like a joke,
Yeah.
but no, that does happen.
If it's hot, then it's like people are like not enjoying being there.
No,
There's so
really
many
hot.
things that yeah. What, are you talking about hell or something?
Yeah.
But like doing that Harry Potter thing in the furniture store, that is not the place for comedy.
Right.
It's a furniture store. It's not that the audience was bad. The audience came in expecting something different because the circumstances were what they were.
Might be your most talked about show, however.
We have talked about it quite a bit.
In terms of us talking about it, yes, I do think there is an inverse relationship between the amount I talk about a show and the people who saw the show.
Yeah. I mean, that one was
yeah.
notoriously 3 people, I think. The entire almost 2-hour show.
Yeah.
There weren't even people there to buy furniture.
I'm sorry.
To see this show.
At that point, that's on you. That really, if a show with 3 people in the audience goes for 2 hours, I think.
I kept turning to the producer, and she kept going, "Stretch it out," doing the stretch it out. I'm like, "But we're at time," and she was like,
"I can't believe they didn't
going.
leave. I can't believe they didn't leave.
They stayed. I don't even know if they didn't enjoy it. They might have liked it.
They might have loved it.
Polite audiences.
Have you?
I don't know, because these people could have just been like, "Oh," they could have gotten up and been like, "Bye," and we would have been like, "See ya." Like it was that kind of show.
I sort of get it though, because I think like the few times I have walked out of shows, they are typically with a somewhat larger audience, so I can at least not be obvious I'm walking out. I once walked out of a show. It wasn't an improv show. It was a different kind of show, and
whoa, wait, what does that mean? Yeah, I once walked out of a show. It wasn't that kind of a show.
No, I said it wasn't an improv show. It was a different kind of show.
Yeah.
What was it?
That's.
It was like I don't want to say specifically what it was because that would tell these people exactly who it was, but it was at a convention and it was like a show that they were doing there. There was sort of like it was sort of like a reenactment of like a real movie that exists, kind of a thing.
Kind of like what we did.
Sort of, but like this was scripted. Like this was like a scripted thing. Like they had the movie going, and then it was kind of like a Rocky Horror Picture Show style thing.
You told me about
but not for that property, for a different movie. And it was so weird because they were like in the audience interacting. When I got up to leave, I didn't notice. I had to ask one of the actors to step aside so that I could leave. I had to be like, "Oh, excuse me."
Out of the way.
Because I didn't notice they were there, and so it was really awkward. But there was a big enough audience that I don't think it was that big of a deal. But
Yeah. I also feel like us 3 are very good at winning people over. So I don't ever feel like audiences are unreachable for me. Like if I see an audience not but if I see an audience not enjoying some audience member not enjoying, it's kind of my goal to like, I'm gonna get that guy. I'm gonna get that person.
See, if I'm in an audience, and I remember I sent you photos of this happening. There was a show I was watching that it wasn't going very well. I'm not going to get into details for similar reasons, Christian. It just wasn't going very well.
Everyone should name names.
I mean, everyone. I mean, no, not everyone. Many people in that show were aware that it was not going well.
Yeah,
but I just look over and I see a couple seats away from me. This woman is with her boyfriend, and she is just so stoic but disappointed at the same time. And I mean, like, for me, I watched the show and I'm like, this is very surreal what's going on stage. But she was just, I had never seen that sort of a stone reaction to
Yeah.
something, just like totally void of emotion and yet still alive, not deceased,
I
and
think
it
maybe there's this funny. It is kind of funny, like the newer improv that gets put up on stage. Their audiences should be mostly newer
yeah,
improvisers, but
yeah,
then like because then they can watch and be like, ah,
right,
we, and still be
right.
caught up in the whimsy of
The
it.
magic,
But
yeah.
like normal people should not go and see new improv shows.
Yeah.
But new improv shows shouldn't market themselves as comedy shows. They should market them as improv shows. But those are always the ones that are like, it's a comedy extravaganza.
Yeah, that's the stuff that'll, like, put people off of it forever, you know?
Yeah.
You see one bad improv show as your first improv show, you ain't
Right.
ever coming back, you know?
And I know I'm not supposed to derive pleasure from that, but
It is
I
fun.
do. I do. It's very funny, and I really like watching it. And mediocrity in general is something I get a lot of pleasure from. So
Yeah.
I think that extends into my appreciation of an audience. I think there's basically it's one of three things: either it's not working out, or you think something else is more funny, or we're kind of on the same wavelength. And usually it's more in the middle, I think. Well, that's not entirely, I shouldn't say that, I'm downplaying us, but as you mentioned earlier, Matt, and I just wanted to go back to it, I do really like when there's like the audience is laughing, but we're definitely not the killer group of that evening, and then like one or two people come up to us
Oh yeah. This has
and they're
happened multiple times.
just like, like, I wish more people were doing that. Like, I get it. And it's like, that's great. Like, because, Matt's doing this thing where he like will, I like put like butter on his balls and like rub it on some furniture on the stage. And like, people are like, what is that? And it's
Yeah,
cool
I've
though. A
never
lot of
seen that before, you know, for
right.
good
Yeah.
And
reason,
it's really, a lot of people like
Vomiting,
it.
people throwing up, and
Is what other people do. And it's
yeah.
boring. It's
Yeah.
old. We've seen vomit.
Wait.
So what?
do
Yeah.
with that in mind, do we have, like, a target audience? Like, does our group have, like, "Oh, this is our
25 to
target"?
27.
Well, what
Yeah.
an unfortunately narrow audience.
Yeah.
Typically,
I would.
typically individuals from steep and arid regions.
Yeah. Yeah. This is our Facebook ad group. Yeah.
This
Um,
will make its way on the website for sure.
yeah. No, I always think I it, my sensibilities are very contemporary. At this point, I don't know how contemporary that is. I mean, being 30, it's
Right.
not like I'm a dinosaur like what's going on with these kids? I'm 30 or I'm 31. Sorry, I just remember that today. Um and but like things like I Think You Should Leave comes out, and that came out, the second season came out like 2 years ago, maybe 1 year ago. I don't know.
Right.
That is right in my wheelhouse, my sensibilities, everything like that. And that stuff is always like, yes. In that same way that an audience comes up to us and they go, wow, thank you for doing what you're doing. Nobody's doing that. And I don't like what everybody else is doing. That show comes out and I want to like shake Tim Robinson's hand and be like, thank you for doing that. Nobody else is doing that. It's the only thing that I enjoy. So it's nice to see that it got made.
Do you
Um,
not enjoy anything else in life?
um,
No,
Name something.
neither food nor water. He can neither taste nor
Honey.
Hate it. Name something else.
Honeycombs.
Hate it.
family.
Hate it.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Hate it.
Nostalgia.
Hate it.
The concept of ennui.
Hate it.
Tim
Honey,
Robinson?
I like Tim Robinson, but I hate that I like him.
Oof.
And then
That's-
there's one other comedian that I can think of that I actually do really love.
Oh, thanks, Matt. It's very sweet of you
No,
to
guys,
say.
It's Adam Sandler.
No, he said his name 3 times. And I
Matt, he's behind you.
I'm going to close out the show today for everyone.
Guys, we got to get out of here. We got to get out of here fast.
No, God, leave me alone. Yo, doo doo, roo doo dee, woo woo doo, bye. Everybody, bye. Roo doo doo, Scooby Doo.
I'm sorry.
Scooby-Doo.
I'm sorry,
It's
everyone.
the second episode that ended with Scooby Doo on it.
Oh, yeah, on accident.
Yeah.
Real oops.
Well, I mean, what? Adam Sandler's going, roopy doo doo. Like, that's already Scooby Doo. Roopy doopy doo.
What Scooby Doo is that? What? No, I'm gonna call you out because that's no Scooby Doo I know of.
That's not my Scooby-Doo.
That's not the
Whatever.
Scooby-Doo
This
I grew
episode
up with.
ended.
Hi, I'm Christian Torres from Wallares. If you're interested in supporting this show, the best thing that you can do is rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Make sure to check out Wallares.com, that's Wallares, for a full list of our socials, including Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Stay tuned for news about any live shows that we may have, and new episodes of Little Bits and Pieces come out every Thursday wherever you get your podcasts.
The show you've just listened to is a part of the Podfix Network. To listen to other shows on the network, head over to podfixnetwork.com, follow on Twitter @Podfix, and join the Podfix Nation at facebook.com/Podfix.